Welcome, everybody, to Source Material. This evening, we're going to be discussing one of the more talked about characters here on the show. I'm sure this character showed up quite a few times in our discussions in the past. Joining me this evening to talk about this book is the patriarch, Mark Radulich. Mark Radulich, are you ready to talk some Deadpool tonight?
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm ready to talk Deadpool.
That's a new record.
Yes, that is not the answer to the question.
I have a special kind of Tourette's.
It's political Tourette's. All right.
Political Tourette's.
Yep.
No, it's October. We're here to talk about spooky things that go bump in the night. So what better way to kick off October, Halloween month here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network than with Deadpool, Dracula's Gauntlet. It's a mash, a monster mash, I tell you.
Yes, indeed. Joining us on this journey, Ronnie Adams of the Screaming Boy Podcast. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing perfectly fine, so long as Mark does not bring up anything else about Kavanaugh, Bill Cosby, or
politics.
Or politics in general.
I didn't bring up any politics. I have a disorder. I have
sorry.
I have political Tourette's where I'm just going to randomly shout things.
So Justin Thomas, we're talking Deadpool. We've got to have Justin Thomas on the show. I am certain that he's brought some puns. Whether you know it or not, they're going to come up at some point. Justin Thomas, Deadpool, are you ready to talk Dracula's Gauntlet?
Katana Rima.
All right. I said before we start this podcast, I would get your guys' moments and put them in chronological order. Well, guess what? I'm not doing that.
Happening.
That's not happening right now. No more pre-production. Mark's done his pre-podcast poop. We've started the podcast. So it's a train that's just heading on the tracks, no stopping this train. So here we go. 2014, this book came out, I believe. It was not a book. Deadpool Dracula's Gauntlet came out as a web-only comic. Now, Ronnie, we were just talking about the Comixology version of this comic, and you were talking about how it was formatted on there. Now, this is web only, so I think you can get it in a book's format right now. I could be wrong about that, but either way, we all had the opportunity to kind of read the web-only edition. However, the Comixology edition, kind of give us an idea of how that was presented real quick.
They have this thing called guided view. It goes one panel at a time, but it almost goes one dialogue bubble at a time. So it was kind of a chore to scroll through it, because usually just if I'm reading Comixology, I'll throw the entire page up on my iPad and read it like a real comic. Mm-hmm. This was a little bit frustrating.
Is it a lot of swiping?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've read a couple comics like that, and some formats and some comics it's great.
Yeah.
Our format that we got to read, it was online as well, but they did a very strange way of ripping, I guess we'll say. We'll just put that out there. Because of the format that it was in, they had to produce these panels over and over and over. But then they would add something else, whether it be a dialogue box or whether it be another panel that shows up on the page. So what you were experiencing, Ronnie, had to have been quite the pain to sit there and scroll back and forth. Did it seem like it had a bit of a cinematic quality? Because that's kind of what I got. It was like one of the credits pages to this book was the same panel over and over again. And I thought to myself, well, this would probably look like a movie. As I'm swiping, something else would pop up, and then something else would pop up in the background. But
you could tell that's what they were going for, but it was irritating.
Okay. Well, so yeah, like I said, we had the opportunity to read it, different format, and it took a while to get used to. Mark, I think I remember talking to you, and you were like, I don't understand why they're repeating panels here, but you said you had no problem following the action, right?
Yeah, it was a simple enough story. It wasn't particularly muddled art. It was just, I would read something, and then I'd have to kind of skip through until something new came up. It was annoying, but it didn't necessarily take away from the overall enjoyment of the book.
So Dracula's Gauntlet, according to the credits here that I'm looking at on this credits page, it says story by Brian Posehn, and then Jerry Duggan, written by Jerry Duggan. I assume that, I don't know how you would separate story from written.
Somebody wrote it didn't write it in script form, sort of wrote out a narrative of what was going to happen, and then somebody actually broke it down into a script. Somebody wrote it like it was more like it was a novel, like, and this happens, and then this happens, and this happens, and then somebody took that and reframed it as a script so that it could be converted to a comic.
Okay. All right. And our art, well, it says storyboards and art by Riley Brown. And I'll tell you right now, I've never heard of Riley Brown, but the art was, I think, very serviceable for an online comic for sure. You got to think that this guy, he has to really put into his mindset that he's going to be drawing a comic for the web. And he has to actually go into the idea of some of the options that are there, like the whole swiping and something new popping up. He has to think about all that stuff in advance, create it kind of like a hybrid of a comic and a visual piece that goes on your phone, another visual medium. So it's very interesting to see what he did here. I think the art's just fine the way it is. There's a couple spots where it looked like it was kind of either rushed or rough. This thing, I guess, what we were looking at is broken up into 13 parts.
It's definitely, I was going to say, it's definitely low on the gore factor, though.
You say low?
You know, compared to Deadpool versus Carnage, yes.
Okay, I'll give you that, because there's quite a few... There's quite a few instances of blood and, you know, the sword play and people getting cut and some people getting cut in half, but there definitely isn't intestines hanging out. There definitely isn't, like, you know, I'll give you that for sure. There's less of that. So let's go ahead. We'll get into the synopsis real quick, and then we'll talk about our moments. I'll just go around the table. Dracula, the Dracula, which Justin Thomas, taking a look at the Dracula that's here in Marvel Comics, does that look like your typical Dracula, or is there somebody you could compare him to?
Yeah, I'd say it's more like the Bram Stoker that you see in the movie, like how he is in the armor and stuff.
Okay.
In the beginning, you know, like the old look of the Dracula, like the ancient times before he goes like modern age.
All right, well, Dracula, he wants to unite the monster underworld under his rule. And in order to do so, he must acquire the hand of a lady by the name of Queen Shikla, a royal monster succubus. This is no easy task, and Dracula hires the Merc with a mouth, Deadpool, to go find her coffin and bring her to him. Deadpool's adventure hits some bumps when the coffin opens and Shikla comes out alive. Not to mention, Marvel's resident vampire hunter Blade intends to stop the union from happening. They also have to contend with ghosts, an angry Minotaur, Hydra, AIM, MODOK, but most of all, they have to contend with their developing feelings for one another. When Deadpool is late bringing Dracula his bride, he sends some of his worst minions to find him to make sure the job is done, including Jack Russell, Werewolf by Night, and the Frightful Four, which this is a different iteration of the Frightful Four. Justin, do you remember who these guys are again?
It was Frankenstein's monster, the living mummy. It was a brood, but I can't remember his name. It began with his X or something, and then it was
or something like that. Yeah.
And then it was Marcus.
And
Marcus, the centaur who was bit by a werewolf, who was taken over by a symbiote, who has diabetes.
Oh, man. And that was like the greatest.
That's the scariest part.
Oh, man. Just going down through. I think if I remember correctly, as you're like going down through on the comic, it'd have like little intros for any time a character would show up. It'd have like a little panel, and it would give like a rundown of who the person is, and a goofy little paragraph explaining what they meant to the Marvel universe, things like that. I think the Centaur one went like 3 panels. Like you would swipe it, and then it'd show up another thing, and then it'd swipe it, and there'd be another thing. So there you go. That's the Frightful Four.
Also, the Thunderbolts made an appearance as well.
Exactly. See, Justin Thomas could have wrote this, because my next sentence is, but with a call to the Thunderbolts and a reappearance of Blade, Deadpool is able to join Shikla and to finally be able to face Dracula and put an end to his evil deeds once and for all. So there you go. Nutshell synopsis. And I did not go beat for beat. There was a lot to be had in here. So we'll start. Ronnie Adams, I mean, did you have a favorite moment or two out of this book?
The Minotaur. I mean, there was a lot I enjoyed, but the Vespa chase.
Oh,
was incredible.
Yes.
It was so funny. that and Blade showing up was really awesome. Blade and Werewolf by Night, because those, I don't see anything with Werewolf by Night. As the book quotes, he's a werewolf, but every night instead of just a full moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't like all that Indiana Jones stuff they had going on there.
Yeah, there was a few nods to that.
Yeah.
I picked up on.
I know Ronnie's the big Indiana Jones fan.
I am, but I did enjoy that. But strictly comic book speaking, I don't see enough of Blade and Werewolf by Night.
I will tell you, I did pop when Blade showed up. I was like, oh man, this is going to get good.
But just the all around goofy feel of it. I mean, it's Deadpool started off as such a serious character, and to see I really enjoy his stuff now. So the fun of it, the fact that they created this whole underworld of nothing but monsters, the whole it was just a lot of fun. And Deadpool was in a zebra drawn cart.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
The zebra was kind of sassy.
Oh, the zebra. Yep.
Didn't care for old Wade. I love the fact that nobody really likes Deadpool, but they do.
Yeah.
They find him very annoying, but they still like him. That's why the Thunderbolts could have just not shown up, but they did.
Yeah. The banter between him and
Red
Deadpool,
Hulk and
yep. And the banter between him and Blade, too. Blade was like, you are crazy. And as the situation gets crazier, you don't stop.
No, yeah.
I like the him having the trading cards and saying Blade's stats wasn't accurate.
That's very fourth wall. Somewhat. That's good stuff. So, Deadpool and Shikla end up tying the knot, which really took me by surprise. Oh, 2000. I was trying to figure out when the Deadpool movie came out. That was the question.
14?
Was it 2014?
I thought it was 15.
We gotta look. Let's find out. Deadpool. I think you're right, Justin. I'm pretty certain this comic came out before. Not a Deadpool pool. I want a Deadpool movie. How about we type that in?
Deadpool pool.
Not a Deadpool pool.
Full of chimichangas.
2016.
Oh.
So this came out, a couple years prior.
I was writer.
Sure, but I couldn't help but not hear Ryan Reynolds' voice when I read this comic.
Oh, I can't read a Deadpool comic book anymore.
I was going to say, he is forever Ryan Reynolds. That's all I see him as.
Yeah.
If Kevin Feige at Marvel decides he's going to recast all the X characters now that Disney and Marvel have all the Fox properties, and they were like, okay, well, everyone's being recast in new Wolverines, new Professor X, new everybody. I would not. This is the one case
there would
where
be a riot.
I would not accept a new Deadpool. I normally I'm like, you want to cast a black Jewish woman as Black Canary? I don't give a shit. You want to make Superman Michael B. Jordan? I don't give a shit. You want to make Aquaman a Samoan bro? Do it. Spider-Man gay? Terrific. I love it. All of it. Just change everybody. Do the dumbest casting things you can possibly think of. I will support you. Don't make anybody other than Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. I can't handle it.
Well, they don't do anything on the movies without him, without his say so.
He was actually a fan, so.
Okay.
He has a lot of input into that character.
So, Deadpool gets married, and I did not see that happening in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even know he was married ever at any point.
Oh, no, I totally saw Deadpool cock-blocking Dracula because
why not? What do you think of Shikla here, Mark? Is she a perfect bride for Deadpool, or do you think this is...
Oh, absolutely. First of all, the couple of things I really loved about this book. Now, you know me, I'm always looking for, what can be the next movie. If they could ever clear all the rights to the characters, I would love to see this be the plot to Deadpool 3. I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was, the perfect cinematic Deadpool experience. There's an adventure. You have all these other characters. It's a very straightforward plot. No one turned into a building.
Always a plus.
That will forever be a staple on this show. If anyone turned into a building, no, then we've got a winner.
Welcome, Dano. I do love the fact that it's the classic. It's a story as old as time, right? You have this rich guy who sends this ne'er-do-well off to go bring his bride, and of course the ne'er-do-well and the bride fall in love with each other over the course of the journey. and it turns out that the rich guy's a bag of dicks, right? So it's just, in this case, the bag of dicks is Dracula, and the ne'er-do-well is Deadpool, and,
If you're gonna do it well.
Right. So I loved all of that. Obviously the quippy lines in it were pretty funny. Brian Posehn's a very funny comedian. He plays the geologist on The Big Bang Theory. He's known as a huge metal fan. I think he does like a Sirius XM metal show. He's also like a creepy neighbor on New Girl. I mean, he's a really funny guy. He's like really tall, bearded, sort of, he's one of like the Patton Oswalt type geek comedians. And he's worked on Deadpool for a really long time, and he captured, with his kind of deadpan comedy, he really did capture the spirit of the character in this. But you asked me what did I think of Shikla, and I thought she was a great, like, fish out of water character. Like she's been asleep for thousands of years. She doesn't know what's going on in the world, and of course, and she wakes to have, to Deadpool being her tour guide to the modern world. It seemed natural for her to fall in love with a swashbuckling, Deadpool. The one joke I thought that was hilarious in this was when she tried to suck his life and when Dracula bit him, and in both cases, like, you taste terrible. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Yep.
I laughed pretty hard both the times that happened.
My second favorite moment was the fight between Deadpool and the Frightful Four, but specifically with the symbiote centaur, okay? Marcus. Because
that's the greatest name for a villain ever.
In the middle, smack dab in the middle of their battle, he's like, wait, the clock strikes midnight, and the centaur's like, I've got to check my blood sugar.
The witching hour.
And they do a straight up diabetes PSA practically right there. And one of the things he's like most concerned about, I think Deadpool even asked him, aren't you concerned about like losing a hoof or something? And then 3 panels later, he proceeds to chop off all 4 of his hoofs right there. Let
me take care of that for you.
Yeah.
I thought the other frightful funny thing was when they have to get Medusa a new body, and they put it on Frankenstein's.
Her body. Her head on Frankenstein's body, yeah.
And Frankenstein's just kind of sitting there like...
Did anybody else feel bad for him?
I did.
Yeah.
Give me my body back.
And the mummy running around after he gets caught on fire, and he's like, I've always made fun of Frankenstein for saying fire is bad. And he's like...
And when Frankenstein first appears, I mean, he does the same thing as the DC Frankenstein. Herm. That's the same line.
Now, Justin, I kind of want to leave the last moment up to you. So,
death by pantsing.
Death by pantsing. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember reading that, and I'm like, oh, that's up there. Because he pulls that vampire. First off, all the vampires in Sesame Street costumes, a little creepy.
So yeah. Some were even Teletubbies and Ninja Turtles, if you look close.
Jeez. And then the only way to get them out, because they're attacking Deadpool in the middle of the day, and the only way to kind of basically get the upper hand is by getting them out of the costume.
He got the upper hand on Dracula too, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Did he ever? The upper, what was that, the upper right hand or the upper left hand? I can't remember.
Right hand.
So just kind of fully spoil what happens here. Neither Dracula does not die. I kind of figured Dracula was going to live because he's actually been a rather prominent character through the Marvel Universe in the past. So I had a feeling he probably wouldn't die. And we all know Deadpool's not going to die. So, but I did have my doubts. I was wondering how they were going to wrap up the whole Shikla marriage to Deadpool thing. I thought that wouldn't last before the end of the book. And Justin, you said you'd read a book after this that kind of picks up where it leaves off, right?
Yeah, it's like the Deadpool wedding. I mean, it's got like pretty much every character is at this wedding on the cover.
Oh wow!
I mean, we're talking. I mean, even like Devil Dinosaur. I remember seeing him in the crowd and stuff. I mean, it goes from like front and back. Just showing everybody, like, almost the whole entire Marvel Universe is there.
Does Deadpool and Shikla remain married? I mean, are they married to this day, or?
Yeah, they remained married as of that issue. But it was going back and it was talking about Deadpool's, like, previous marriages, or not marriages, but relationships. That's one thing I remember him talking about in the book. and it shows that his favorite taco stand that he always goes to, he always talks about how Rosa does the best tacos, you know, how she understands him more than anybody. Well, it turns out Rosa is actually Vanessa, just constantly keeping an eye on him. She still has feelings for him.
Okay. So is she like in disguise or something?
Yeah, she's a shapeshifter.
She's a mutant
Vanessa is?
copycat.
Oh, I didn't know she had powers.
I thought it'd be much more funny if she were wearing like a mustache and a top hat.
But yeah, that was...
While I agree with you, that
that's
unfortunately is not it.
Yeah, that's definitely Deadpool book all over. Like, he's like, oh, I didn't know it was you. All right, well, any other moments there, Justin?
I caught a Punisher joke in there.
What?
She's like, I felt like Shikla was in danger, but not like
Oh, yeah.
not like Punisher wife's danger.
Yeah, Punisher's wife at a picnic danger.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had no idea that he was
Poor
part of the
Frank.
Thunderbolts. No clue that he was part of the Thunderbolts.
really? Punisher?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he changed his skull to red
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I actually read the first couple of issues of that iteration of the Thunderbolts. It's something I'd like to do on source material at some point.
All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get into closing thoughts about the book. I mean, it was a fun book.
It was a lot of fun. Your basic a lot of jokes that you're going to find in a Deadpool book. But I really like the story. I like the fact that it's a story you find just about everywhere. I mean, guy meets girl, falls in love, but you know they end up getting married in this, which is pretty much any chick flick ever. It was a lot of fun to read, and I would recommend it to anybody looking for an introduction into modern Deadpool.
Okay, Mark Radulich?
I thought it had a very cinematic quality to it. I thought it was very funny. It was a very light read, despite the problems with the panels and everything. I really, really enjoyed it. I would love to see this in some sort of live action or even animated forum.
My final thoughts are that it definitely felt like a Deadpool book. I mean, there wasn't really too much fourth wall breaking. And that didn't happen a whole lot, but it was funny. I mean, I was really having a good time reading it and laughing at some of the stuff that was happening, especially the dialogue, whatever it was, where they were, most of the dialogue that was being done, or even the way that the story was structured was sometimes very humorous, very entertaining, and just a good read overall. Justin Thomas, this is your boy Deadpool, man. When you look at all the Deadpool books that you've read over time, where would you place this one?
I would definitely place it up there. I mean, if it was actually redone so it wasn't as quirky. But I mean, as far as the story goes, it was spot on. I mean, I really liked everything about the whole book in general. I mean, I'm a big monster fan, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that probably tied right in.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the use of Dracula, Living Mummy, Werewolf by Night. Those are characters I just always have liked for Marvel. I just liked how Marvel always had the rights to all the classic monsters, and it's like you just barely see them, and it's just great to see them being used the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the introduction of Shikla, I mean... That just put the icing on the cake, someone that's actually immortal, just like Deadpool.
Yeah, it almost felt like, well, these two are kind of made for each other. And they wrote a good story. It didn't feel like, it didn't feel forced to me. It wasn't like, oh man, they're going to force this person in here and they're definitely going to fall in love. Even though I knew kind of about the third or fourth issue, that was probably how this was going to go down. I want Wade Wilson to be happy in some way.
Like I said, the gore was different. I mean, it still worked out good. I mean, even though it wasn't like super gory. He didn't have the thing where he had the other voice going on. I noticed that. That was different. So.
Yeah. Hey, Hydra Bob showed up. We forgot about Hydra Bob.
Yeah, and his MODOK.
Oh my God, the MODOK thing was so funny to me. Just the entire sequence, beginning with MODOK showing up, and then they're all like falling out of the plane, and then he's just like, but my chair floats, and Deadpool's like, that's right, and he like dumps him out of the chair.
And then they're picking him up later with a forklift around his ears.
Hey, this chair has a toilet.
Yeah, I think I laughed the most during the whole MODOK sequence.
Yeah, there's.
They got rid of the secondary voice when he was rid of Madcap. for a while, Madcap was trapped in his mind. He had Madcap's consciousness, and he was sharing Deadpool's body, and the whole time Deadpool thought it was his other personality, but it was really Madcap. The character.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Deadpool books I've covered on here. I know we did Deadpool versus Carnage. We also did Deadpool versus Cable, didn't we? Cable versus Deadpool or X-Force.
X-Force, yeah. That technically didn't happen.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Erased from existence. Yes. And then we talked this one. And I'm trying to think, I'm sure we've done other Deadpool books as well. Well, I did Deadpool Illustrated. That was like like episode 4, if I remember right. So,
later this year, we'll be doing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Which is a really dark book, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Volume 1 and Volume 2. He does it again.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, that is the precursor to Illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, because it gets so meta. I mean, meta. So, all right, well, let's wind things down here. This is our first show in October, Mark Radulich. I mean, we're getting the spookies on, buddy. This is so what else do we have coming up on the Radulich in Broadcasting Network for October?
As far as source material goes, again, we're celebrating all things kooky and spooky. Next week to synergize with the release of the Venom movie, we're going to have from WTM, Jason Teasley, do a double shot appearance. First, he'll be on the Source Material podcast talking Venom Lethal Protector, and then he'll be on Damn You Hollywood discussing the Venom movie with me, standing between myself and Robert Winfrey as we get into a sissy slap fight.
That happens quite a bit.
That's kind of the whole show. All right, and then on the 15th, we're going to be looking at a graphic novel that brings together a few of the Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween-specific comics. It's Batman, Haunted Night. Then we're going to take depending on how you look at it, we'll be taking a break from maybe the spooky and the kooky. It just so happens that Daredevil Season 3 drops on Netflix on October 19th. So we're going to be looking at Daredevil Born Again on October 22nd. And then finally, it's Halloween week. It's here. It's finally here. We're going to take a look at the comic book Halloween Night Dance, and I'm going to try not to shit my pants.
Justin Thomas.
That's every week.
Justin Thomas.
No, I mean shit my pants out of fear. See?
Oh, sorry.
Shit my pants.
Now, Justin,
pants.
were you the one that recommended that we do a commentary for Space Invaders? Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's November 1st.
Sweet.
Now, Justin Thomas, do you want in on Halloween Night Dance? I think I threw that to you already. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Heck yeah.
Okay, because I know Justin has... How many years have you dressed up as Michael Myers?
I think last was the first year I didn't dress up as him.
Wow.
So, let's see, 2010, I believe, is when I got that outfit.
You didn't walk around with us
I did walk around, but I didn't wear the outfit.
Oh, okay. All right.
It would have been miserable in the rain. Because it was raining, man.
Yeah, Justin went with me and my sister and the kids around our neighborhood, and it was just raining, and what was it, like 56 degrees? It was just miserable. But anyway, yeah, so I know Justin's a Halloween fan. You know what, Justin? Maybe we'll have to do a commentary similar to Friday the 13th, and I might actually have to watch Halloween, the first one, with you.
No, you gotta, man. No. If you're gonna do a commentary, do it over Halloween H2O.
The first Halloween.
Not a bad movie.
The first Halloween I've seen so many times, I could probably tell you what they're going to say exactly.
Yeah, see,
all right, which is the one with LL Cool J? Because I remember that one being the absolute shits.
That was I think.
So here's what else we've got going on in the month of October. Tomorrow night, Jesse Starcher will join me on a TV party tonight for Ozark Season 2. Doesn't really have anything to do with horror or Halloween. It just fit on the schedule there. And then, speaking of spooky and kooky, Screaming Boy, The Rise and Fall of Bill Cosby. Check that out.
Oh, no.
The aforementioned Venom, Damn You, Hollywood. Our yearly look at something Hannibal Lecter. We're going to look at TV Party Tonight, Hannibal Season 2. Myself and Robert Winfrey. We are going to be reviewing the new Halloween movie on Damn You, Hollywood. And then the following week, and then that same week is also a TV party for Daredevil Season 3. Going to be a very, very busy week for Yomaki. And then the following week, Sean Comer and I will do an on-trial for the 1981 Halloween 2. And that same week, as I said, Justin Thomas will dare to appear on the Radulich Broadcasting Network TV Party Tonight Extra commentary for Space Invaders.
There's a little tie-in with that Space Invaders as well. It's also the anniversary of the original radio broadcast of War of the Worlds.
Oh, very interesting.
And see, it was actually played on Space Invaders, so it kind of ties in together there.
Very interesting.
That's right, so we're doing it. Finally, it's covers month all month long because covers and music is kind of like wearing a costume. Get it? Halloween, costumes, covers. All right, then. We're going to be looking at Power Glove, Continue, Mystic Prophecy, Monuments Uncovered, Devil Driver, Outlaws Till the End, and Burn the Priest, Legion XX, and finally, from Italy, the boys just want to have fun. It's Trick or Treat, Reanimated.
Yeehaw! All right.
The Power Glove, it's so bad.
It is so bad. Ronnie Adams.
I have a show, and it's called the Scream Boy Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, geek culture, anything, like that. We have been on an extended hiatus due to a broken computer, but we are coming back very soon, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So please keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, you can go on to iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart, all that, and check out what we have done in the past. Please do. Please subscribe. You will be one of the first to get the new episodes as they come out if you subscribe. We are on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. On Facebook and Instagram, you just look up Scream Boy Podcast. On Twitter, it's Scream Boy PR. Give us a like, give us a follow. In this month of October, I will be going to the Fayetteville Comic Con, so look out on Instagram for pictures and Facebook for pictures of that, where I hope to meet the one Tony Todd from Candyman and a plethora of other movies, and Tom Savini, who is the director and special effects makeup artist in a number of movies as well. Actor, he played Sex Machine and From Dusk Till Dawn. He directed the remake with Mr. Todd of Night of the Living Dead. Keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun to go to. We also have a ton of network exclusives right here, where we've talked about the rise and fall of Toys R Us. We are going to talk about the rise and fall of Bill Cosby as well, because no matter what he has done in the past, now hear me out before everybody goes, oh my God. His past comedy has been a lot to myself, to Mark, to Pat, a lot of people. I grew up listening to him. I had several of his albums, comedy albums, and I listened to, just about wore out Bill Cosby himself. But yeah, that's basically what we do, what I do, and along with putting up with a lot of crap.
Justin Thomas, do you have anything to plug, sir?
I'm retiring. I'm too old for this crap.
Murtaugh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much. I'm quite the gamer. You can catch me on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam even. Doesn't seem like anybody's on there right now, but yeah, I'm on Steam. Also, you can catch me on Facebook. Just look up my name. Catch me on Twitter, Instagram, anything like that. You name it, I'm on it. Just look for Spectre13. That's SPEKTR 13. And pretty much, just look for that approving Deadpool pick.
That brings this episode of Source Material to a close. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to give that Radulich in Broadcasting Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts we have to offer. We are at home on Spreaker, but you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and recently we have hit the air on Spotify. Find your favorite podcast platform and type in RADULICH to subscribe for some great content. If you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word. And as always, we appreciate any feedback and look forward to entertaining you again soon.
Live in a world where you can only bang robots?
Won't be long before people start claiming rights for the robots.
When Mark says the robots are coming, all right?
Jesse Starcher.
Waka waka.
Is Justin Thomas pro-robot brothel? Pro-brothel?
Ding, 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 ding.
Did you poop good?
I poop so good.
Ding, 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 ding.
They also have to contend with ghosts. What the hell was that?
That was Ghost.
Can you hear the thunder in the background?
Yeah,
Mark, are you moving furniture?
Wow, that was loud.
There's a storm a-brewing. There's nothing I can do about the fucking storm.
Wow.
We actually want you to gain the power of weather control and make it stop.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Ding, 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 ding.
I don't know, but somebody is typing at a telegraph.
That's not me.
Mark
Nope.
Radulich.
I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm not touching my phone. I'm not playing video games. I'm not in control of the weather. I'm not eating chips. I'm not raping. I'm not doing anything.
Mark. No.
I'm currently not pooping.
Currently. The night's still young.
And I'm not snoring.
The night's still young.
Ding, 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 ding.
So kind of give it. Yeah, that's a storm.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's that Scream Boy podcast where we talk anything about
Stop talking out of your ass.
I have no clue what you mean by that.
It sounded like you were talking with Bill Cosby's pudding pop in your mouth. It sounded like you were trying to talk while sticking your face in Olivia Munn's buns.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last source material we looked at.
What was that motorboat sound for last unicorn, Jesse?
I have officially retired.
Driven from podcasting.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was waiting forever. Go.
It's contentious. He's gonna fall asleep, Ronnie. Hurry.
What's new?
Ding, 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 ding.
I would tell you to go give the Radulich. I will tell you. Go give the Radulich.
I would. But
After tonight, things have changed.
I would tell you to go check out the Radulich and broadcast and never put fuck back day.
And now it's time for some punishment as we bring to you the first ever pun-pone battle straight from the source material gag reel.
Please, do not try this at home.
Why can't witches get pregnant?
I don't know, Ronnie. Why can't witches get pregnant?
Because their husbands have Halloweenies.
Bananarama.
Anything like the band Bananarama?
The stakes are high on this one.
Boom. Dracula joke.
That really bites, doesn't it, Ronnie?
Come on, damn him! Oh, man. That's pathetic. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Something you really sink your teeth into. Jury really likes pudding. They really like putting his butt in jail, you know?
Oh, God, that's enough! Stop it!
The geologist. For those about to rock.